Hey there, friends. How you doing today? It is a cold little morning here in Baltimore. Went from 80 degrees yesterday to 50 degrees and raining. It was actually a threat of snow at 38 degrees this morning, but we're uh, we're just surviving out here. Coming back from a really nice vacation with my family in Key West. It was just nice to get away, spend a little time with them. My second child is going to be arriving here in June, so it's a little baby moon for us. Most importantly, we got that time together as a family, and of course, just to share, like, make some memories, and those memories they carry us in a lot of ways. Uh, and sometimes it's nice to step away from your real life, uh, a real life. Guys, this work that we do in our lives. It's not the real life, right? We know this. I say real life, I guess, in the sense of the task we've been set in this incarnation. Let's go real. Let's just slam it into spirituality mode right now. These tasks we are built into that are built into our lives. So I recently had a conversation with my friend Ashley. She's a new friend, and I mean to say this in the most platonic way. She is a new friend. I play a video game called RuneScape, and I've been playing RuneScape for about 25 years now. So I have been in a number of RuneScape clans, and in old school RuneScape, I am an administrator in one. I great community of people, and I think that's the most important thing. And maybe I'll talk about it another time, like this philosophy that I carry into my interactions with my community. That I used my RuneScape clan management experience as experience in the job that I'm currently holding as a project manager. So it's amazing. You can literally just take anything and make it into anything else. And that is, I think, the way that we can all construct our lives. But this is not where I wanted to go with this conversation. The conversation with Ashley was surrounding uh, personal development and getting better at the game. She's really struggling at this raid that that we play, that we do, and it's probably one of the more accessible. It is the most accessible raid, and so she's really trying to get better at it, but she's struggling, and it's hard. And obviously, like, that is just a normal part of growth, is struggling through some of those discomforts. And so, when I had this conversation with her the other night, I was like, hey, like, how's it been going? She's like, I can't do this. It's very hard. And I'm like, listen, growth doesn't happen overnight. Like, I I wasn't always good at this, at these things. And she's like, no, you're like a pro. And I was like, look. And I showed her these charts. I don't know. Maybe I'll put them up here. Maybe I won't. Probably not, to be honest. I don't really like editing videos. So um, I basically made this huge jump. So from like April or or May of 2025 to October, November of 2025, and a massive leap in terms of the things I was trying. And don't get me wrong, I had like good gear in the game and all these things, but that's not the point. The point is, I made this huge leap, and the leap didn't happen overnight. It happened because I was really pushing myself to try new things, and I had great people around me that were helping push me to new heights. And that's really that's really where it's at. And so as we're talking to her, and I'm showing her these charts of me, like, just jumping up the kill count leaderboards and stuff like that, like, it doesn't happen overnight. It took me time. And for this particular raid, it I only have like 170 kill count, like, times beating the raid. Um, but for the first year and a half, 2 years of the raid being out, I completed 30. There was a span, a jump of a month and a half where I completed 100. So, like, just put it in perspective. That is a lot. And that was mostly dedication. I did it a lot with other people, but I did a lot of solo attempts as well. But this isn't about RuneScape. This is about self development. And so she said, that's part of what's holding her back, is her failing, dying in the raid, and then it becomes more challenging for everybody else to pick up the slack. So duos and trios where other people are counting on you to live, can be a real impediment if you frame it in that way. But, and I've told her time and time again, and this is what makes us such a great clan and community to be a part of, is that we have a connection to the people that we are here for. We're not only, like, I don't want to get into philosophy, but we're not only here to just be part of the clan. We're here to help each other. This is what a community is. And so um, I had a really empowered speech about what this means to me. Maybe I'll share it another time. But um, anyway, so we're talking about this, and I said, like, you're like this dying thing and like dying at the boss and stuff. This is, and you're me, like Spider-Man meme. Point at each other. Uh, you're me. Like, this is exactly what we're doing. And I was trying to do other things in the game, but we were having this deep conversation, and that's really important to me to make these connections because it's like shared experience merges people in ways that we couldn't even fully capture. Right? It's so deep, and this is a deep intertwining of our experience as people. So anyway, I said, she like, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, and I'm like, no, this is great. It's important to have these kind of conversations. It's like RuneScape therapy. And I expressed to her that I had this huge period of self-development, not just in real life, right? That's your self-development, your these realizations that you have about your life are, it's passive, it's over time. And in RuneScape I had this huge leap, but of course it's all this progression. It's like the buildup of skills and timing and all these things. And timing really matters in a game where a single tick is 0.6 seconds and you have like so many ticks for certain weapons. It's a lot to think about. But you put it all together, and then all of a sudden you can accomplish these amazing things. And it's like, how did I not know that I could do this? And it is that realization, that self acknowledgement about where you are. And it's just, it blows everything. It blows your mind, blows everything out of the water. And so I went on to say, I had this period of self development, and I think anyone that, if I can do it, then anyone could do it. And the potential that I see in Ashley is the same potential I see in everybody because I can see it in myself. It's like the Tao. It's like, how do I know it's true? Because I look in myself and see. It's like I can, if I know I am, Tat Vamasi, I am that. But we are everything. It's a blow and where's the guy, the meme guy? This little whatever, the Steve Jobs thing. So I can see that unlimited potential in her. And I said something, it's so outside. I don't think it's like cringe necessarily, but it's just so outside of the norm that people would talk, outside of the pale or beyond the pale. I said, my third eye is buzzing writing this. And it's not, but that's not really the point. It's good to talk to someone like this. People don't really know each other in this way. I think this is real interpersonal communication. And when I say that, you have to understand this is a state, right? To be truly connected with someone is a state of being. You are truly connected to them in not just a superficial way, like holding their hand. That's not connection, physical touch, that's not real in the experiential sense. So uh, she said, she said, what does that even mean? And she's never, she does, she admitted, like, I haven't really made this, type of connection or had these conversations with other people. And I think that that's the point. Some people aren't aware of how important it is to talk like this to each other. And so what she asked, what does that mean? Third eye buzzing. And so I tried to put it into words. I said, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. And this is what I wrote. When I'm sitting down right now talking to you, I'm not really talking to the personality of you, the persona you portray to the world built from a history. I'm speaking to you, the truth of who you are in this moment. That's what I mean when I said, it's nice to talk to you in this way. That looks different in everybody, and sometimes people aren't present enough to know who they actually are. When I'm in that space, I feel a physical sensation kind of like when your hands are asleep, but directly in the middle of my forehead. There's a lot of imagery about the third eye in media for quite a long time, but I feel that when I'm in this space, I'm seeing to a different part of being in a way. I've heard it said that you can't really know anyone, and no one can ever really know you. Both may be true. You can't really know anyone if they're here in the truest sense, and you're here in yours. Now I listen. Now listen. I understand it's getting a little twisty, but stick with me. Then, to see that, you can see that there's truly only one of us in existence. We're staring into the present moment. No one can know you because you're this living, breathing existence, same as they. Wiggly stuff. Now, to think about being in that state, right? This is something that I was trying to explain while I'm in it. It's like people have a hard time capturing the experiences of other like drugs, right? LSD, mushrooms. Like sometimes they can draw them or they, write about it. I tried to write about it and it came out I even talked about it. I had a recording. I don't know where it went. I think it got deleted, but this wonderful moment, it was called the mushroom monologue, I believe. But anyway, um, to experience something and then to put it into words and actually captured it beautifully. She said, I have a feeling it was something similar to that, which I've always found fascinating but could never really understand. Again, just experiential versus referential, I suppose. I know I'm using words that are words, but we all have to use words that are words, don't we? For her, she continued on, but all of us have at least one unique thing about us that each of us would find hard to wrap their heads around or understand, I'm sure. Countless, like uncountable things. We all experience things that we couldn't even put into words, or could portray in some way. There's no way I could understand all the experiences and all the things that we wrap up. We do this all the time, right? When we go through life and um we meet someone and they've got these hidden experiences, right? A lot of them, and can't know that someone's having a bad day. Even just a cursory having a bad day. That's a real thing. So it's what somebody's going through, and you don't know how that paints their experience. Now we're talking about two different things, right? I'm seeing into the soul of somebody. That may be a circumstantial based on that person in that moment, but it is to see their true experience, not to judge it as being superficial or something like that, but it is something true. And something true for them is true for them, and I can't fight that. I I feel that there is a pushback of this is my truth as being this is the truth that I believe in, and you're wrong if you don't believe it. I think that that is completely untrue. That's not the way that people are pushing their agendas. They're just expressing themselves, and expression is very, very important in the world. It's important for everyone, and so to know someone is to know those types of things. And I think a perfect example with Ashley expressing her troubles about Tombs of a Masket. So, um, and I think to see somebody in that way is very, very important. People see the deepest version of you when you're not trying to be someone else. When you're here and when you're real, you're just hanging out, like you're not trying to put on airs, and it's authenticity. And it's kind of an epidemic of what's the word? Artificiality, I suppose. Not the opposite of authenticity. Um, we feel something unreal about another person. We feel something unreal about a situation, or that they have an agenda, that you're being in some way manipulated to accomplish that thing. Now, obviously, that is kind of living a life of paranoia and outside of the realm of reality. Like, listen, I can't control everything. I am only me in this sense. Now, I can certainly stand up for what I believe is right, but I can't make someone be real. And that is I kind of the it's an interesting place. And who am I to say it's wrong or right? I'm not, and I don't pretend to know. But what I do know is that when I meet someone in the truest sense, it's they're me and I'm them, and we're right here. We're sharing, and sharing is caring, as they say. Um, I'm very glad to make this video today. This is something that I felt deeply about. I wanted to record it, a couple of days ago when this, the day after it happened, but I just didn't really get around to it. So here I am on a Thursday. Um, it's a beautiful thing to see each other. So I hope that you see someone today, that you touch someone's life and make that connection. Even if it's just your dog. Like my dog's upstairs, scared of the rain. She was down here while my wife went to go drop off our son, and it's funny to think, we can see the depths of so many things. Humans aren't the only things with emotions. We can touch deeply many aspects of many lives, and so um, touch touch someone's heart, their soul, with love, and see you next time.